Let us consider we are having a rectangle, okay? Rectangle. Rectangle means we will be having length and breadth, okay? For the rectangle, what we can calculate? We can calculate area, we can calculate perimeter. Volume also. Sorry, a rectangle volume will not be there. Okay, if I give paper, that is a rectangle. What is the volume? So now, don't make noise. If you are answering, it's fine. Okay, someone who. Okay, so area is nothing but multiplication of these two, and the perimeter is nothing but this one. This we know. Okay. For this rectangle, same area, formula will be same, but length and breadth will be different. So depending upon that we can. And for this one, same formula but different values. Okay. Now for a rectangle, what are the properties that we will have? Length, breadth. Okay. Length, breadth will be the two properties. And by using these properties, what are the operations that we can perform are area and perimeter. So area we will find out. Okay, let us define a function to calculate the area. So how can we define a function? By using DEF. Then area. So what we will write? Return L into B. Similarly, we can define perimeter as well. Okay. So now this kind of rectangle, how many we can have? Any number of rectangles we can have. Okay. For all those rectangles, we will be having these as the operations and these as the data. Okay. Data related are properties of the rectangle. Length and breadth are the properties. Area and perimeter are the operations that we can perform on that particular rectangle. Okay. So this is a format kind of thing, or we can say skeleton. Okay, some blueprint we have created for a rectangle. Now if we wanted to give some reality to it, then we need to provide certain values. Like let us consider length is 5, breadth is 3, then it has some existence. 5 is the length, next 3 is the breadth. So we will be having a rectangle like this. Such kind of reality we could able to provide, then only it gets some physical existence. Okay, without that it will not be having any physical existence. It will be just as blueprint, just a plan, that's it. Okay, so now what we are having here, these are the properties we are saying. Properties are nothing but variables, right? L and B are the variables. Next, these are the operations we are saying. Operations are nothing but functions. So we will be having some variables and functions. Okay, these are bundled together. These are bundled together as one. These are bundled together as one rectangle. Okay, this is called a class. What is meant by class now? Class is nothing but collection of variables and functions. In other words, we can say properties and operations. In other words, we can say data and code. Code in the sense actual functions. Code in the sense functions. Data means the variables. Okay. So collection of variables and functions. Connection of data and code together, we can call it as a class. Okay, we can make it as a class. So whenever we create a class, it will not have any physical existence. In order to make it as real, what we have to do is we have to provide values, as I have mentioned. So how can we provide values? and what we call such kind of physical physical object, physical thing, what we call, that we will see. Okay, I hope you got the intuition, right? So now let us see it formally. We are saying rectangle as the class. So how can we define is by using the keyword called class. And what is the name of the class? Rectangle. So in general, it is good practice to start with capital letter. Class name with capital letter. So class, rectangle, then colon. So now we are defining the class. What we can have inside a class? Variables and functions. Okay, variables will have, functions will have. Okay, now what is the let us consider L and D are there. Okay, we will fill this. Afterwards, what are the operations that we have? Area and perimeter. Let us define those operations as functions. So now let us define DEF area. What we will return? L into B. Similarly, define perimeter. Yeah, perimeter, then return correct 2 into L plus. Yeah, so this is a skeleton. Okay, now we need to give some real existence to it. Okay, as I have mentioned, by providing the values only we could able to make it real thing. Okay, existing thing. So how can we give values is we will be using the class name. What is the class name? Rectangle is the class name. So we will be using the class name for this rectangle. We wanted to give values. Okay, how many values we wanted to give? 2 values. So let us provide 5, 3. So 2 values we have provided, and we are referring this one as R1. R1. Similar kind of rectangle we wanted to create, okay, with some other values. So rectangle, how can we create rectangle? 4, 6, let's say. Okay, this you can assign to another variable, this R2. Okay, now what we call this R1 and R2 is, these are objects. Okay, objects in the sense real world entity. Real world entity we call it as object. It will have some existence. Okay, it can be distinguishable from other objects. Actually, this R1 can be distinguishable from R2. Similarly, vice versa, R2 also can be distinguished from others. Okay, so object is nothing but real world entity which can be distinguishable from other objects. Okay, now how can we create objects is by using class name followed by some values. Okay, and we are saying anything followed by parenthesis as function, but here class name is followed by this particular parenthesis, so it is also said to be a function. Okay, but what is the function name here? Class name. Function name here is class name. Whenever we have a function with class name, with the name as the class name, that kind of function we call it as constructor. That kind of function we call it as constructor. Constructor is nothing but the function which is having the same name as class name, that we call it as constructor. Okay, so where this will exist, this constructor will exist, what will be the operation when we use this rectangular 5, 3? That's the question. Rectangular 5, 3 we are providing. Then what is our intention is we wanted to assign 5 to L, 3 to B. Okay, that assignment should be happened, right? That initialization should be happened. That can be done by using the method called, by using the function called init. Okay, there is a function called init. Okay, we will be having like this, init underscore init underscore then parenthesis. Okay, here colon. What is the purpose of this init? Is to initialize the values, initialize the variables. With what values we wanted to initialize? With those values, isn't it? Right, to understand? We are providing two values from there. Okay, with those two values we wanted to initialize L and B. Then we can perform these operations. Okay, so what is the value of L? What is the value of B? That we have to get from there. Okay, now you can visualize in such a way that rectangle of 5 comma 3 whenever we write, it is nothing but unit of 5 comma 3, unit of 5 comma 3 only. Okay, so it is nothing but calling this function, isn't it? Calling this function means how many parameters we need to have? Two parameters. Those two parameters we need to have, isn't it? Why? Because we are passing two arguments, so two parameters we need to have for unit. Just to one thing you need to understand, that whenever we use constructor, then it will call unit function. That's it. Okay, so now two parameters. So those two parameters we will be mentioning. Two arguments we are passing, so two parameters we will be having. Let us consider that as L1, another one is B1. Okay, L1, B1. And what is the value of L now? What is the value of L? What is the value of L? It is nothing but 5 we are passing, that will be copied to L1. 3 will be copied to B1. But these values we have to assign to L and B. So L is equal to L1, B is equal to B1. Understand? Just it is like a function. Okay, to the function we are passing two arguments, so two parameters we need to have. Parameter names are L1 and B1, and here we are having inside the rectangle class we will be having some variables, some data. Okay, for those data variables we are assigning these values. L is equal to L1, B is equal to B1. Okay, that's it. Afterwards we can have R1. Okay, R1 contains what? R1 contains constructor. So we are calling a constructor. Okay, and R1 and R2 we are saying as objects. So whenever we create object, then what will happen is in the memory object will be created. What is the name of the object? R1. Inside R1 what we will have is L and B. Why? Because we have created the format, that is class we have created, and we are giving some physical existence. We are giving some physical existence. In this physical entity, what we will have is data we will have, code we will have. Data and code. So what is data in this example? L and B will be the data. What is the code? Area, perimeter is the code. Okay, these two functions. So those will be part of R1. So here we will be having L, B, then area, then perimeter. Okay, what are the values of L now? L for R1 specifically, that is generalized one. For R1 it is 5, for B it is, for R1 L is 5, B is 3. Area and perimeter will be there. Whenever we want, we can call, then these can be retrieved and we can get the values. Similarly, whenever we call R2 is equal to rectangle of 4 comma 6, then R2 will be created. Then object will be created. So object will be created with the name R2. For this R2 also we will be having data and code. Okay, data will be L, which is having the value 4, B will be having 6, and area will be there, then perimeter will be there. Okay. Now we wanted to access what is the length of the first rectangle. What is the length of the first rectangle? So how can we access? Is by using the operator called dot. By using dot operator, we could able to use this. That is, what is the object name? R1. What is the object name here? R2. And what is the variable name here? L. So R1 dot L, then we could able to access this L. R2 dot L, then we will get this one. Similarly, R1 dot B, R2 dot B. Similarly, R1 dot area of, okay, R1 dot area, then what we will get? Area of the first rectangle with these values. We need not provide these values. Here you see, define area, written L and L into B. So we are not passing any arguments. We are not having any parameters. We are not passing anything. But by using which object we are calling, based upon that it will take L and B. Try to understand. R1 is having L and B. Next, R2 is also having L and B. So whenever we call like this, let us say A1 is equal to R1 dot area. Then what does it mean? We are calling area function by using which object? R1. So it will check whether R1 is object or not, it will check. Within that object, are we having area function or not, it will check. If these two are valid, then it will come here. Then area function statements are there, those statements will be executed. So it will access L into B. It will perform L into B. That means whatever the copies which are available with R1, with those values only, it will perform L into B and it will return the value. Okay. So it will assign A1 as area, that is 5 into 350. Okay. Similarly, A2 is equal to R2 dot area. So here R2, by using R2 object we are calling area. So automatically whatever the variables we are having in this R2, those will be considered. Similarly, perimeter also, P1, P2 also you can write. What is it? R1 dot perimeter, then R2 dot perimeter. Okay. Finally, you can print A1 followed by P1. Okay. Here print rectangle 1 area is, how can print? Area is plus A1, right? Area is plus A1. Can we write it or not? A1 is what? A1 is what kind of variable? Normal integer variable. So we are printing that. So what we have to do? We have to use A1. Okay. Similarly, you can use you can put perimeter, print okay. Similarly, you write it for second rectangle. Okay. So now what we did, now come back to this. I will tell you when to write. Don't note down now. Yeah. Here what we did is we have created a rectangle class. Okay, we have created a class called rectangle. Okay, where we will be having init function which can be act as the constructor. That means whenever we create object, then this particular function will be invoked. This function will be invoked whenever we create object. Next, apart from this function, we are having two more functions, that is area, perimeter. These two are normal functions. Directly we are returning resultant values. Okay, fine. But init function functionality is to initialize the variables. Okay. How it will initialize? It has to get, while creating object, we will provide values like 5, 3 we are providing. So 5, 3 have to be received. That's why we need to have two parameters. For the init, two parameters we have. Why? Because two arguments we are passing. then whatever the parameters we received, those we are assigning to L and B, so that those can be utilized in other functions. So whenever we create object like this R1, then this will be created, that is memory will be created, then L and B will be there, and those values we are passing, those will be assigned to L and B. Afterwards area perimeter will also be there. Okay, it will not be available like readily use. Area we have to invoke, then only that those statements will be executed. It is not like area is also calculated and will be stored. It is not like that. Only the definition will be resides in this. Understand? Similarly, perimeter also. That value will not be stored anywhere. Just it will, whatever the code we have, that copy will be there here. That's it. In R1. Similarly, R2 we are creating by providing two values 4, 6. Then which one will be called? Rectangular 4, 6 means init function will be called. Then L1, L2, L1, B1 values will be 4, 6 respectively. Then L and D will be assigned. Then this particular copy will be created, R2, L and B. Next, area perimeter definitions will also be present. Okay. Now we wanted to invoke these functions. Then we can make use of object name, dot operator, then the function name. R1 dot area, R2 dot area, R1 dot perimeter, R2 dot perimeter, R1 dot L, R2 dot L. Like this, we can access these all members by using the object name and dot operator. Okay. So this is one thing. I hope you understand. Yes? Any doubts? Yeah, online people. Which one? Yeah, actually class rectangle contains up to this. Okay, up to this in the sense, that's it. Okay. After completing the entire class, then we will create objects. R1 is equal to this one. So this R1 should be aligned with this class. Like definition, this we are when this one will be completed, area is up to this. How we are indicating? By aligning next statement from this. Similarly, you have to align with this. So now we have learned what is meant by a class, right? What is meant by object, what is meant by constructor, right? What is the use of init function, okay? And whenever we create object, what will happen? And how we can invoke functions of the class by using object. Understand? These all things you have understood. Now just you answer this question. What is L1 and B1? What is L1? Parameter. What is B1? Parameter. We can have L2, B2 also as parameter names. In that case, L is equal to L2, B is equal to B2. That's it. Okay. It is a format only. Just whatever the values we receive, for those we are giving some name. Those names we are using here to assign to L and B. That's it. We cannot vary L and B, isn't it? Why? Because in the function definitions we are having L and B only. Now the question is L1, B1, L2, B2 also we can have, M, N also we can have, P, Q also we can have, X, Y also we can have, like this. So many, any valid identifiers we can use. Here we can use L and B also. L and B also, because those also valid identifiers. But whenever we use L and B, what will be the resultant code here? L is equal to L, B is equal to B. Does it make any sense? L is equal to L. That is, from L we are copying to L. It's not, it cannot be understood by the user. Readability will be less whenever we write like this. L is equal to L, B is equal to B. Although it is having some sense that these L and B are belongs to parameters. These L and B are belongs to these L and B are one more time. These L and B are related to one more time. These are belongs to object. These L and B are belongs to object. These L and B are related to parameters. Okay, it is having a what you call important functionality. That is, we are initializing this L and B. But whenever we write L is equal to L, B is equal to B, it will not be clear to the reader. Okay, so for that reason, to differentiate this particular L and this one, what we are having one convention that as these L and B are belongs to object, we will be using that object name. Okay, object name in the sense R1 is the object name, but do we know what is the name of the object here? Like whenever we call R1, we create one object and assign to this particular one, then only we will come to know this is R1. But while creating, we don't know what is the name. After creation only, that will be assigned to R1, isn't it? Similarly, here also, we don't know what is R2 before creation. That's why you can give some dummy name. Okay, any name you can give, but that particular object name in general we will be referring as self. Okay, there is no restriction that you have to use only self, but that particular parameter should be first parameter. Okay, here into this particular object we wanted to store L value as L1, self dot B value as B1. So what does it mean? Whatever the object we are creating, that object by default will be considered as self object. Then into that object we wanted to initialize these two values. Self dot L is equal to L1, self dot B is equal to B1. Just to here we need not pass anything, that you keep in mind. Rectangle is the class name and we are using parentheses, so it is said to be a function in general, but the function which is having the same name as class name, we call it as constructor. Whenever we write a constructor, whenever we call a constructor, automatically it will invoke which function? Init function. In the init function, we will be having first parameter by default as the one object. Okay, one object. You can give any name. You can give your name, comma some parameters. Okay, and what is the use of first parameter? Is first parameter will indicate the object that we are creating. So into that object, we wanted to assign these values. So how we can access these variables is by using dot operator. As we have accessed R1 dot area, R1 dot L, R1 dot B. Similarly, here also, time over. Okay. R1 dot L, R1 dot B, like that we can access, right? Similarly, here also self dot L. What does it mean? Self is what? Object. Self is, we can say, current object. That is more appropriate. It is like how many times, the question is how many times this rectangle class will be defined? How many times this class definition we will be writing? Only once. We will write that once. We can create any number of objects. Okay. So while creating this, we can use any name. If you want to use R1, you use R1. Thing is, I have told you na, L is equal to L, B is equal to B. Instead of writing that, we wanted to specify this L belongs to object. Which object? Current object. Okay, or instead you use current, that is more appropriate actually. Yeah, current, then L1, B1. So L1, B1 values we wanted to store in the object called current. So current dot L. Similarly, current dot B. Current dot L is equal to L1, current dot B is equal to B1. So what is that current? Is current object. which will refer current object. That can be R1, that can be R2, that can be R3, anything. Okay, we need not bother about what is the name of the object. Whatever the current object which we are creating, it refers to that. Okay, rectangular 5 comma 3 means in general we will be getting L1 B1, that's it, 5 comma 3. So those values we have to assign to L and B, that is fine. But to differentiate, there exist some instances where L and here also we can have L and B. To differentiate these two, we are using this one, that's it. Okay, so this is to initialize variables. These are the functions, and we can create objects by using this, and we can invoke the functions which are inside the class by using those objects. Yeah, now you can note down. అది .py అది. No. This is a function. That is actually in this Python we are having this init function separately, but in other object oriented programming languages like C++, Java, .NET, C#, .NET, in other object oriented programming languages, we will be having this particular thing as the same name as the class name. That means we are calling what here? Constructor. This is what? Class name. So here also we will be having class name only instead of init. Class name only. So it is more appropriate, isn't it? Just we are making a function call, then this will be invoked. Okay, but in Python we are having init specifically. That's it. Yeah, online people, any doubts? Over. Yeah. Not over. Yeah. Suppose we are having two variables, A as 5, B as 7. We wanted to get sum of these two. What we will do? C we can take, then A plus B. Fine. Next, A value as 5.7, B value as 10.2. Okay, we wanted to sum these two. Then C is equal to A plus B. Okay. Let us consider we are having a value as xyz, b value as pqrs. Okay, we wanted to add these two. How we can write? C is equal to these two, we wanted to append like this one followed by this one. So we can use a plus b. Okay, plus, understand? So these are allowed and you know already these operations. Now whenever we use a is equal to 5, b is equal to 7, then c is equal to a plus b we are writing, then it is performing addition. Addition of what? Two integers. Addition of integers. Okay, fine. Next here addition of float. Next here concatenation, isn't it? Here you can observe these three are same. C equal to a plus b, C equal to a plus b, C equal to a plus b. Same thing. But depending upon the type of the variables that we are passing, a and b, the operation is being varied. Okay. So it is like for one particular operator plus, we are having the functionality of performing integer addition. Okay. Next, real numbers addition. Next, string concatenation. Like this, we are having several functionalities. Yes or no? Next, I can we can argue with other example like minus. Minus, if you consider, we can perform subtraction of two integers, subtraction of two real numbers as well. So for minus also we are having more than one functionality. Depending upon the context, it will perform. Yes. Next, you consider slash. You consider slash. For slash also we will be having different functionalities, more than one functionality. So whenever we have more than one functionality for the same operator, that can be plus, minus, that can be anything, more than one functionality, then that particular operator is overloaded. Understand? So whenever we give more than one functionality, depending upon the context, the functionality will be decided, then that particular operator is overloaded. Okay. So now what is this plus operator is overloaded or not? Yes. Minus operator is overloaded? Yes. Like that, whatever the operator, like you consider in operator, in is operator, right? We have used or not? In, in, where we have used? Loops, yeah, for I in range of 0, 10. Only once we have used. How many times we have used? So many times we have used, right? Yeah. For I in, so that in is having some functionality. Next, we have used that in other context also, in conditional statements. If C in so and so, whether it is present or not, we can check. Membership operator. So that is having different functionality depending upon the context. So that is also overloaded only. Yes or no? So what is now what we will do is, whatever the plus operator we have, that can be used between two integers, two real numbers, two strings like this. Okay. Now let us consider we are having R1, R2 as we have defined earlier. R1, R2 as objects of rectangle class. Objects of rectangle class. So R1 is having L and B, R2 is having L and B, its own L and B. Okay. Now we wanted to create another rectangle which comprises vertical, which is having the area equal to these two. Or don't consider like that. It is like we wanted to create a new rectangle which is having the length which is equal to addition of both, addition of two rectangle lengths. Next, breadth also in the same way. So we wanted to create R3 in such a way that R3L should be R1 L R2 L. Similarly, B of R3. R3 B should be R1 dot B plus R2 dot B. Okay, like this we wanted to create a rectangle. Okay. Now, in general, what we are doing is we are getting length and breadth of both the rectangles and we are adding, then we are assigning to L. Okay. But I wanted to, here also we are using plus operator only, right? Okay. Of course, these are integer variables. Yes or no? R1 dot L is integer value, R2 dot L is integer value. We can use plus. There is no problem. But I wanted to use in such a way that R3 is equal to R1 plus R2. Is it allowed? R3 is equal to R1 plus R2. What does it mean? Rectangle 1, rectangle 2, we wanted to add. So, what is the type of R1? Object. R2, what kind of object? Rectangle object. Okay, rectangle class objects. So, those two, in between those two, plus can we use or not? It is not defined. Why? Because rectangle itself not known to the compiler, isn't it? Rectangle itself not known to the compiler until we define. We are defining and we are saying these are the operations, these are the variables, these are the operations that we can perform on rectangle. Similarly, earlier integers are already there. Integer is the type, then it can hold these kind of values and we can perform these kind of operations. Like that it is defined so that we can use. But rectangle is not defined earlier. We are defining and we are specifying the value, what you call operation that we can perform. So whatever the operations are defined by us, those only can be utilized. Area, perimeter. Suppose as you told volume, can I call directly the volume? Can I call any other what you call operation that we didn't define? Is no. Try to understand. Rectangle is having two functions. Can we call any other function by using this R1? No. Why? Because only two operations we have defined. Those two only we can call. Similarly, here plus operator is having some functionality. Plus operator can be used between integers, used between float values, used between strings. But can we use this plus operator by between objects? It is not defined, so we cannot use. Understand? So what is our intention is we wanted to use like this. R3 is equal to R1 plus R2. Like that. So for plus operator, we wanted to give this additional functionality. For plus operator, we are having certain functionality. It could able to operate between integers, float and strings. But we wanted to operate between objects. That is called operator overloading. Okay, we are having already some functionality to this plus. We are providing additional functionality to operate between objects of rectangle type. Okay, so this is called operator overloading. Got it? So now how we could able to overload or how we could able to provide that functionality? That is the question. Understand? What is our intention? We wanted to use that plus operator between plus operator between objects. What kind of objects? What kind of objects? Rectangular objects now. So we have to provide this additional functionality. How we could provide is we will be defining a new function which is having the name as underscore add underscore. This is the function name. Whenever we wanted to overload this addition operator, then we have to give definition to this function. Okay, where we have to define this one is as we wanted to operate between objects, we need to define that particular one inside a class. Inside this particular class rectangle, we are having what? Area, perimeter as the functions. But in addition to that, plus also we wanted to use between objects. Okay, or before defining that function, I will tell you the operation like R3 is equal to R1 plus R2. Okay, see here R3 is equal to R1 plus R2 means by using this particular object, we are using this R2, okay, first we are using R1 and plus is the operator, then R2 we have to supply to this, then it will be adding L and B respectively, then it has to return R3. That is another object. So this entire thing we need to consider. R3 is equal to R1 plus R2. So R1 plus R2, just you consider like this, R1. Instead of plus, you consider that underscore add, okay, then R2 we will provide like this, okay, by using R1 we are calling R1 dot add of R2, okay. This is the internal thing, okay, this we will not write, this is the internal interpretation. Just you understand R1 plus R2 will be interpreted like by using R1 we are invoking this, then how we can invoke a function? By using dot operator. So R1 dot, what is the name of the function? Plus means underscore add underscore. This is the function. Then R2 we have to provide as the argument. So R2 will provide. Understand? Now this particular add function we have to define. Understand? What should be the functionality? This one. This should be the functionality. That is getting the L value of R1, L value of R2. We will add, then we will create a new object. Okay, that's what we will do. So now we will define what? Add function we will define. In addition to area and perimeter, we have to define add function. Okay, just you write down once again this entire thing. Okay, don't append there only, you will get confusion. So now we will be defining a function called, and now for this add, we need to provide arguments, right? R1, R2. So first one is anyway current object, as we have discussed, self or current object that you can consider. That is the first one. Comma current. Current is nothing but that R1. Okay. In addition to that, we need to pass one more object. One more object, isn't it? R2 we are passing, right? That you can consider. You can give any name like that can be Y. Just this is X, let us say, this is Y. So for this current object we need to add Y, okay, those properties. So let us consider how can we do? Return. We need to create object. Yes or no? We need to create object of rectangle type. We need to create object of type rectangle that we have to return. Okay. So you create object. How can we create? Rectangle of two values we have to provide, right? Those two values, how, from where we will get? Current dot L plus Y dot L. Similarly, current dot B plus Y dot B. Then we will get two values. Those two values we have to supply to rectangle that we have to return. Understand? So just you consider. What is the first value? First value is, let us consider temporary L. Okay, TL is equal to current dot L plus Y dot L. Similarly, temporary B is nothing but current dot B plus Y dot B. Now TL, TB we have got. Now we have to return the object. Why? Because R3 is equal to R1 plus R2 we are saying. So R1 plus R2, how it will be interpreted, we have seen, right? How it will be interpreted? R3 is equal to R1 plus R2, in the sense it will be interpreted like this, R1 dot add. then this function will return something that we have to assign to R3. What is that something? That should be an object. So, so after TLTB, we have to return rectangle of TL comma TB. That means this will create an object that will be returned. So that can be assigned to R3. So now we have provided additional functionality to the rectangle class, that is add. Now R1, R2 anyway we have created, right? So now here you can use R3 is equal to R3 is equal to R1 plus here we are having A1 P1 R1 R2. Now R3 is equal to R1 plus R2. Next you can display R3 dot R3 is also an object now. So you can add, you need not call. Why? Because R1 plus R2 will be interpreted as calling that add function only. So print of R3 dot area, print of R3 dot perimeter. Understand? So this one, here just you consider this one. R1 is equal to R1 plus R2 means R1 dot underscore add. Okay, this plus will be considered as add function. Okay, what is this R2? R2 we are passing. Okay, by using which object? R1. So this current is nothing but this R1, Y is nothing but R2. Current is nothing but R1, Y is nothing but R2. Now, first object, with what object we are calling that will be considered as the first parameter. Okay, you can use any name here, that should be the first name. Whatever the first parameter we use, that will be considered as the current object. Okay, you can give any name here, like we have considered here, right? Self some init, first one will be some object name. First parameter will be considered as the object. Similarly here also first parameter will be considered as the object. So object, by using these two objects we have to get length and breadth. So now these two we will be adding, then we will get a temporary length, temporary breadth, then we will create another object of this same type and we are returning by passing these two values. You know the functionality of rectangle of TL comma TB. What is the functionality? What is the functionality of rectangle of this one? What is this one entirely? It is a constructor, rectangle of something. Rectangle is the name of the class name and we are having parenthesis, so it is a constructor. For constructor we are passing two values. How we have created here the object? R1 is equal to rectangle of 5 comma 3. So we are passing two values. Rectangle is the class name and followed by parenthesis and the value. So it is a constructor. Similarly here also rectangle of TL comma TB. So it is a constructor. Whenever we call a constructor, automatically it will create an object. Okay, then that particular object will be returned. Okay, from where we are calling this? From here, R3 is equal to R1 plus R2, then it will call that. That add function will be called here. Then what it will return? It will be substituted with the object which we have created. Rectangle of TL comma TB, that will be stored in R3. Now R3 dot area, R3 dot perimeter means will get updated once. Okay, so this is nothing but operator overloading. That means one particular operator functionality will be there. For that functionality we are giving new functionality to it. Plus operator is having already some functionality. What is it? Addition of two numbers, addition of strings, like addition of real numbers, like this. It is having some functionality. But in addition to that, we are providing additional functionality that we call it as operator overloading. Same operator can be used in different ways depending upon the situation, depending upon the context. That we can say it as operator overloading. Got it? You may get doubt that plus operator means we are having add. For minus operator, suppose we wanted to subtract these two objects, R1 minus R2, I wanted. Then underscore sub underscore, that you have to define. Understand? Similarly, we are have, you don't have any class? Then online class, you are attending already. Okay. Shall we continue? See. So here R3 is equal to R1 minus R2. Let us say that for that minus functionality is what? Minus functionality, it could subtract two numbers that can be integers or real numbers, but it cannot subtract two objects. To subtract two objects, what we need to do? We need to define a function called underscore sub underscore. Okay, for that also we will be having two parameters. Similarly here just we will put minus, then we can return that object. Okay, so in addition to this add, we can have subtract as well. In the same class we can have subtract as well. Okay, next suppose I will be having two rectangles. Okay, R1 R2, two rectangles we have. Now we have to compare these two. Compare these two in such a way that the result should be like this rectangle is bigger compared to this, or this rectangle is smaller compared to this, or these two rectangles are of same size, or these two rectangles cannot be comparable. Okay, these are the outcomes that I am expecting. Suppose if I give 4, 5, 5, 4, now same, perimeter same, area same, so it will be same, right? So we can say both are of same size, both rectangles are of same size. Suppose if I give 4, 5, 10, 2, four, 5, 10, 2, same. Huh? How? Huh? Perimeter is different. Now can we say these two are same? Can we say this rectangle is bigger than this? Can we say 4, 5 is greater than this 10, 2? Can we say? Area is same. So we. So can we say it is bigger? No. We cannot say. So these are not comparable. Okay. If we could able to say it is bigger, then we will say bigger means, can you give an example? 4, 5, 1, 2. Is it fine? 4, 5, 1, 2. 4, 5, 2, 3. So it is bigger. 2, 3, 4, 5. It is smaller. So smaller we can say, bigger we can say, same we can say, not comparable also we can say. So 4 outcomes. So now the what you call, now the objective is how can we compare two rectangles R1, R2. Let us say two values are there. Two values are there, 5 and 7, just two values. Let us say A and B. Now you can say A is greater than B. You can say A is less than B. You can say A equal to B. But we are having two objects R1, R2. R1, R2. R1 will be having L and B. R2 will be having L and B. Now how can we compare these two? Yeah, for that you cannot use directly R1 is greater than R2 or not. Try to understand. R1 greater than R2. Can we use R1 is greater than R2? What does it mean? We are trying to compare two objects. Is that greater than is defined for these rectangular objects? No. Understand? So we cannot compare R1 greater than R2 or R1 less than R2, R1 equal to R2. These kind of things we cannot do. but we are expecting such kind of functionality among objects. So for that also, that greater than symbol, less than symbol, equal to symbol, these kind of operators, we need to overload. We need to give new functionality to those. That is also operator overloading only. Okay. Now you consider like add. We have to define some function. Okay. What is the name of the function? Is let us say for greater than, we are having the function called underscore gt, greater than. Okay. Similarly, for less than, we will be having lt. Okay, these are the function names. This is for equal. Okay, if you overload this particular, if you give definition to this particular one as we have defined here, can you give definition for this greater than? Definition greater than means we are expecting like this: R1 greater than R2. R1 greater than R2. So what it has to compare? R1 dot L is greater than R2 dot L. Then only area is enough. So whatever the condition you are thinking, those conditions we have to check. That functionality we should embed inside this function. Instead of here we have added directly without any computation. But here we have to compare R1 dot area, R2 dot area, R1 dot perimeter, R2 dot perimeter. These four values we have to compute and we have to compare. Then we have to come to the conclusion whether those two, first one is R1 is greater than R2 or not. Okay, depending upon that we will return true or false. Like that you have to define this function. Similarly, less than also you can define, equal to also you can define. Understand? Just we have to compute in all the cases, we have to compute these four values: area of two rectangles, perimeter of two rectangles. Then we can compare, then we will conclude R1 is greater than R2, or R1 is less than R2, or R1 is equal to R2, or we cannot compare those also. So like this we can perform operator overloading. Okay. So with this I'll stop. Yes, you please try to go through this. Okay, you define it, execute, try to execute it, then you will get satisfaction.